Welcome everybody. Tonight is Charlie's Playground Foundation event. It's a special event that turned down for what is putting together along with their iRacing platform that they use for their iRacing league races. They have come together with 42 or 43 other drivers, and they are going to put on this event here at Talladega tonight. We've got a lot of racing, a lot of action on track. Big 4 or 5 wide racing at some point. Track temp is around 121 tonight. 76 is the air temp, so track will be very warm. I'm joined in the booth tonight by Shad Swadsworth, my brother, Shadilac. Shad, we've got 43 drivers on a track that is meant for full speed, no give, no take, no other words that we usually like to throw in there while we're racing, but everybody's going to be out here going all they can get and try to get those top three spots for the payouts for this wonderful foundation that is doing everything they can to build all-inclusive playgrounds around the U.S. or the world. But it's a fantastic idea by these guys coming together to do this. Um, what is it like on track for your that you're seeing any drivers that you've talked to, any information that you can pull out of these guys pre-race?
These guys are going to have to battle those two leagues coming together. A lot of guys haven't driven with one another. But as far as info, as far as the track conditions, it's a super speedway. We all know the tires really aren't that important. And when it comes to Talladega, they're even less important than what they are at Daytona. As far as fuel, from what I've been hearing from the drivers, 18 to 20 laps on a full tank, depending on where you
Yeah, Shad. I'm kind of just floating back in here or back and forth here for the foundation stuff. I was notified just prior to the race that this league has brought together all these drivers, and just driver donations are up around $750 donated to just entry fee and regular donations that drivers have just donated, whether it was $20 here or $50 here or whatever people have donated. There's a couple drivers on track also that are willing to donate if they lead a lap. I know the 88 of Mike Allen has put it out there that he will donate $1 for every lap that he leads tonight. I know Terry Radford out there in the 60 truck will be he will be donating $2 per lap if he leads, and then he also stated that if he finishes in the top three, whatever the payout is for those spots, he will double it and donate that back into the foundation pot as well. The GoFundMe that this little girl has gotten together, and all of the people that have come together between fire departments and the school, the elementary school that she belongs to or belonged to Colony Elementary School. Their GoFundMe is, I believe, up around 103,000. as of right now without the donation from Turn Down for What yet. So if you are out there and you are watching on Twitch, you can send in the donation. There is a GoFundMe, like I said, that is up on the screen. I'll pull it up here and put it in the chat for everybody. But it is out there for everybody to see. Go donate whatever you can. I mean, even $1 matters. So I'll put it in the messages right now. And you can go out there to go to that GoFundMe, Charlie's Playgrounds at Saddlewood Elementary, and uh, give to a great cause. There's a lot of causes out there, but this is definitely a good one to do. This little girl's dream or wish that she had prior to unfortunately losing her last year or 2 years ago after battling cancer. Um, this is something she really wanted and was pushing for, and just wanted all inclusive playgrounds to where anybody can go to the playground and enjoy that atmosphere as a kid, that childhood dream or memories that us adults have now. Some of us can remember playing around on playgrounds at schools or parks nearby your house or things like that, and there was not really all inclusive playground equipment there, Shad. It was all, things that, you know, just kids that were able to use them, monkey bars and things like that. And a lot of kids didn't get to enjoy them, and every kid should just have a fun day every day. But Shad, coming back to this race, it's like you said, everybody out here. I don't think any of them are really paying attention to the payouts. A lot of drivers, like I said, are willing to donate that back in. Some are willing to donate double the amount that they win. Uh, I mean, there's so many good things to say about Turn Down for What. They do this kind of event every other month or so. It seems like they just did one for Justin Strong, the child that was injured in Georgia by the pit bulls that attacked him from the owner that was massively negligent, and I believe was arrested. Uh, so they did a huge thing for that. They did. They've done so many. I mean, this all started back on console. Shad. We did an event for Papa Bear, who his grandson was going through some medical stuff, and NNR back when we were on console and Xbox got together and ran a Talladega race and held an event for Papa Bear's son or grandson. And now Papa Bear owns Turn Down for What here on iRacing, and has continued that tradition of doing as much as they can for family and friends, or even just people who know people outside of iRacing, just getting together and doing that. So, um, but this race is going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. I was actually supposed to be on track. We even talked about maybe you coming in as a spotter. I know Rock NASCAR out there offered to be a spotter for me as well. But Pete was supposed to be doing this broadcast, but he had a family emergency, and something we preach here at Turn Down for What is family first. Um, so unfortunately, Pete wasn't able to go tonight, so you and I have to step in here, Shad. But big shoes to fill for Pete, and I hope everything is going okay with him. Uh, you know, I know Pete outside of iRacing, so really hoping everything goes all right with him. But Shad, if you have a pick out of these 43 drivers on tonight, who are you going to be watching in particular to be a driver to either be at the end and win, or just be somebody that's aggressive? Yeah, we'll see who's left. They do have one fast
So
repair tonight, though, Chad.
obviously there's
Good
good
old J
good
Paul.
ways. That you can easily run 3 wide.
Yeah, they ran 4 practices this week for drivers to get together and get used to driving against each other, get used to driving the styles, the way some guys are. If they're aggressive, they lay back, the moves they make, just being next to each other. Turn down for what's been running together for multiple years now. So those drivers know each other. They know their habits, their styles. When they like to make their move. If they're conservative to where they save fuel, if they lay back, things like that come into play here at a track like this. And there's a few drivers out there with the 22 of Josh Arnold, Tyler Belanger, and a few others. I mean, Cole Snyder, Enrique Quiones, they're both in here. Turn Down for What has had probably, I think it's about 15 to 16 super speedway races in all of the seasons that they've done in Turn Down for What on iRacing, and a member of that group of JPaw's little group of guys that he's got, they've all won the super speedways. Only one other driver has won a super speedway outside of that small group of guys that J-Paw has with him, the friends and stuff that he has. So those guys are here tonight. You mentioned Josh Arnold. I've called him the speedway guru for a very long time because he is just very, very fast, very strategic. Only man I know to ever make it through and roll past the finish line on fumes. So it's
No audio for me.
no audio for you. Well, okay. That is odd. How about now?
Can y'all hear me? No, still nothing.
Hmm. Well, that's odd. Give me just a second here while we fix some audio issues, apparently. So let me check, see what is going on. Should I go ahead and do some test 1, 2, 3s or something?
1, 2. It's low. You can hear me now, too, but it's very low.
All right, let me turn you up. It's weird because it's the same as we normally have for velocity. So go ahead and do it one more time.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? It's still really low.
Try it again.
1, 2.
Try it again.
1, 2. Oh, now it's really loud.
All right. I cranked it up, so let me
1, 2.
let me
Now it's
adjust
really
it.
loud. Cranked it up, so let me 1, 2.
All right, try it again one more time here, and we'll see if this works.
Try it again one more time here. 1, 2. 1, 2. Soon to be a little better.
All right. We'll go back into what we were talking about here. So, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw us into the big salute to the red, white, and blue national anthem, and we'll be right back to see what the qualifying looks like and who might the top dog be at the end of qualifying to start out this race. I know they're going to do a 3-wide salute, I believe. So I will also pull up Papa while we're doing that and talk to him real quick.
Hey Kurt, quick answer for you.
Yeah. All right, we're back here for Turn Down for What's Charlie's Playground fundraiser event. Guys are going through on practice right now. We've got about 3 seconds left in practice and qualifying. We'll go ahead and start up. Shad, hopefully your audio is fixed now. It does sound a little fuzzy though, is what I'm hearing through my audio in my ear. So, not sure what's going on there.
Uh, I think everyone can hear me now from what I can hear on your stream.
All right, sounds like you're in a fishbowl though.
Yeah, it does sound a little funny, but it'll do.
But all right, so we're going into qualifying. Shad, are you the type of driver that wants to go out there and lay down the hottest lap you possibly can and go out on top in the pole for the start of this race, or does it really matter where we start here at Talladega? Because obviously the draft is the key position that you need to find a drafting partner or drafting partners to make your way through the field, things like that. So does it really matter if you start first or last in this race?
I mean, it doesn't matter because of the draft. You can work your way back to the front if you play the runs right and the momentum. But I'm the type that when it comes to speedways, I'm gonna go out there and try to lay down the fastest lap because I want to be out front. Because typically that's where the trouble doesn't start from. Usually it's the middle to the back of the pack. That's where you start getting guys that are trying to get aggressive going towards the front, and that's usually where the caution starts off. But yeah, I mean you can start in the back and work your way up within a handful of laps, or you can start in the front and fall back to the back within a handful of laps. It just depends on how aggressive these guys are pushing, getting these lines together and getting the momentum coming off of these turns because that's where it seems like you always get the runs. It's coming off the turns onto these long straightaways. But yeah, to me, it wouldn't matter starting in the rear or the back, but um, I'm just the type that I want to try to see if I can lay down a clean, smooth lap and put it out front for at least the first handful of laps.
Yeah, I was obviously practicing all week, trying to come up with different ideas and strategies. I've run these type of races before. iRacing Super Speedway, Talladega, Daytona, those style racing tracks, and I don't know where the best scenario is. Even real NASCAR guys, they some will float in the back most of the race and then they're there at the end. Some try to be at the front all race and they make it to the end. Um, and it you know danger happens from the front to the back. It does not matter in this race. You can be turned from the lead, you can be turned in the middle, you can be turned from the back. So I I don't know what the best strategy is. You've obviously finished in the top three more than I have at super speedways or really any other track, but um, I don't know. I know in practice, Justin Agnock, he in the 13, he was somebody that showed up to every single practice this week, and he did a lot of different style racing. He went out and did qualifying laps. He went out and did two car tandem pushing. He got in lines and pushed in those. He led. He went to the back and hovered in the back and kind of conserved. He put in a lot of effort this week, showing up to each one of those practices and running with different guys and learning their styles and racing abilities to know who he wants to work with. He has certain guys out here, obviously, that he knows from certain leagues and things like that that he can work with, or knows maybe that he doesn't want to work with those guys and things like that. But I'm, I don't know. I'm kind of a flip of a coin on that very night on what I would rather do, I guess, or what I see. We'll see a lot of guys peel off and go down on the apron and let guys go by early in the race if it starts getting heavy with guys making moves. I know they do have a rule for tonight's race is there is no three wide racing within the first 10 laps of the race. And I think that's just to maybe get everybody going, maybe get everybody without having an issue. They do have that one fast repair tonight, which means for anybody who does not watch iRacing events and things like that, if they do get into a wreck, they smash that car, they get a dent, they lose a hood, a fender, whatever it is, they can come down pit road if they can make it to pit road, and the game or the iRacing will just fix it. It just goes back to a brand new truck. if you blow an engine, things like that, and you go and you can't make it to pit road, you will have to hit the button to tow, which adds on time depending on where you're at on the track. I think it's like 3 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, for most of it, which then will add on to your pit stop before that fast repair kicks in. Some guys forget to uncheck it, Shad, and waste it. So got to be on your toes at all times to try to make it through this race. It's a lot of thinking, a lot of strategy, and a lot of sweating bullets, I think, is what the most of the drivers would say.
Yeah, I've never really had the greatest of luck when it comes to super speedways. Been out front, led a lot of laps and didn't get to finish. Or I've tried the strategy of riding around the back and then trying to come up through the field towards the end and been wrecked out that way. So I'm not the greatest when it comes to finishes here. I can run these races and drive them, but when it comes to just overall luck, I do not have any luck when it comes to super speedways. So some of these guys have it, and they're able to avoid the carnage. And unfortunately for me, it seems like I'm always caught up in it. So, but it looks like Kurt qualifying is done, and the guy you were just talking about that made it to all the practices is gonna be the one that's gonna be on the pole, and that's gonna be Justin Aniscock in that 13 car or truck.
Yeah, and I'm having an issue here. It is not working. STK is not working right now.
Again, just remember the rule of thumb. Put your long range, long 80 laps.
But going through the order, Shad, it looks like Justin Agnock is the pole sitter. Bill Hell is in that 53. We see him a lot on super speedways. He's going to start second tonight. Brad Herman in that 85 Toyota is going to be starting third. Tyler Zohar in the 78 Chevy will be fourth. Dale Rapp in the 52 will be fifth. Nick Sipple will be sixth. Mason Hausman will be seventh. And our good buddy James Coey out of Pennsylvania will be starting in the 66 Chevy truck tonight in eighth spot. Brandon Bass will be ninth. And Josh Arnold, Mr. J-Paw, will be starting 10th, Chad, if you want to take it from there.
Yeah, so starting 11th is going to be Doug Evans. Outside of him is going to be the 00 Pacey Wygent. And 12th, 13th is going to be Michael Allen. 14th is going to be Mark Morton. Starting 15th is going to be Lance Durham. Outside of him is going to be Curtis Ecker. And 16th, 17th is going to be Jonathan Pugh. 18th is going to be Nicholas Hapiek. Hopefully, saying that right. 19th is going to be Papa Bear Campbell, the owner of Turn Down for What. 20th is going to be Braden Holt in that 31 machine. 21st is going to be Nicholas Hunter. 22nd, Michael York. Scroll down. 23rd is going to be Terry Radford. 24th, James Munch. 25th, Johnny Shade. And outside of him, 26th is going to be Kevin McGarvey. 27th, Michael Produsky. Outside of him, 28th is going to be Cole Snyder. 29th is going to be Enrique Quiones. 30th is going to be Chad Bean. 31st is going to be Reven Gurr. 32nd is going to be Nathan Line, and that is the last truck to take time in qualifying. So 33rd is going to be Tyler Belanger. 34th is going to be William Gay. 35th, Joshua Roberts. 36th, Joe Tardif. 37th, Rodney Ayers. 38th, Michael Campbell Jr., or the third. 39th is going to be Jeff Jones. And rounding out this 40 truck field, Kurt, is going to be Robert Emerald in that 77 machine in 40th.
Well, we're getting ready to come through turns 3 and 4, Shad. That pace truck, that big old pace truck that iRacing has created. Not sure if it's a Chevy. I think it's supposed to look like a Chevy, or at least the front end looks like a Chevy. It'll duck
It's
on down
Chevy.
pit road, and we'll hear those guys stomp on these gas pedals and get these trucks screaming as we'll go around for lap 1. We'll go into the restart zone. It's a long way through this front triangle. Tri-oval. It is not like Daytona where that finish line is right in the middle of the tri-oval, Shad. It's at the very end of it, at the end of pit road, essentially. So it's a lot more racing all the way through to the end. But we're getting ready to go through here. I will crank up the volume, and we will get rolling for lap number 1 of Turn Down's for what? Charlie's Playground fundraising event. And we are green. As we come out of turn 2, we've got guys screaming all over the place. 2-3 wide already. 2x2x2 for the first front. Looks like 10 rows. A couple guys look like they were shuffling, and that's why we had the 3 wide races. So I don't think much of a 3 wide race, but it should be 2x2 at least for the first 10 laps of this race, Chad, and then it'll start getting pretty heavy with guys trying to make passes. Are you seeing anything so far through this race that you're going to be paying attention to more?
No, right now, they're kind of playing it safe with that rule that they stated about no going 3 wide. Right now, everyone's kind of just riding where they're at. A couple guys shifting lanes, trying to make their way up this. It's actually going to be Dale Rapp leading, or no, Bill Hale's leading that first lap around in that 52 machine. Or actually, that is Dale Rapp in the 52. So, yeah, Dale Rapp's going to take credit for leading the first lap of this charity event. But yeah, right now, just a few guys making lane changes between the 2 lanes. But right now, everyone's just kind of riding around. I think once we see that 10 lap countdown go away, then we might see some guys go into that 3rd lane and trying to make a move towards the front. But so far right now, Kurt, we got 2 pretty good veterans up there in that 13 of Justin and the 85 of Brad Herman right behind them. They are pretty much bumper to bumper right now, and it's pretty amazing to see in these trucks because they're not the easiest thing to push around here. They get real squirrely if you're just inches off of the center line of these bumpers. So great to see that some of these guys right now are being able to lock up and push this early into the race.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of wondering who makes that first move as soon as we get to lap 10 and when they're allowed to go 3 wide racing. Does anybody go for it right off the bat? A lot of guys say you can't win it in turn 1, you can't win it in lap 1, but lap 10, I would say the same thing. I don't think anything can be really done in these races unless you get somebody that we've seen in Velocity where guys got a breakaway on green flag stops and they basically just drove away from the field, and I think they won by almost a full lap because they had just pulled off the strategy that well. But I don't know if we'll see that tonight. I don't think that's going to happen. That's the first time I ever saw that happen before. But these guys, some of them are going to be aggressive, I think, and I'm just wondering who makes that first move.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to get a feel for the guys behind them. Obviously, you want to go to that 3rd lane. You want because is a lot of momentum up there. You get great runs coming off of these corners. The problem is if you go up there and nobody behind you goes with you, you're going straight to the back of this pack. So you kind of need to get a feel for the guy behind you, and obviously it's got to be somebody from the outside lane. Anybody on the inside right now, you are just stuck riding where you are unless there's a gap in the middle. But for the most part, you're going to be stuck in that lane, so it's going to pretty much come from somebody on the outside. And they're going to need to make sure that the guy behind them is going to go with them, or else that move's not going to work at all. But we are quickly halfway to that 10-lap mark already, as these guys are not really dicing it up at all. I haven't seen any crazy lane changes. Everyone right now is just kind of riding smooth. I think getting a feel for everybody as it's not very often, Kurt, that in any league really that we've done where we have this many trucks out here for a race. A few leagues you might get in the 30s, but to have 40 trucks out here at one time all racing is it's amazing to see, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
I mean, it's gonna be wild. Right now, it might look a little boring. Might look like guys are just kind of just riding, and that's what a lot of them are kind of anticipating. That's what you see in real life. You see a lot of guys just kind of riding, getting those laps done. We've got 80 laps tonight, Chad, and like I keep saying, you can't win in a lap 1, you can't win in a lap 10, but lap 40 you can. So, or lap 80 you can. So, I don't know. I'm wondering who tries to maybe pull that 3 lane, third lane, and try to go up there and try to pull around the bottom 2. You know, we hear a lot of guys saying about guys riding around the bottom. They're a bunch of bottom feeders, and it just doesn't work. But the middle lane and the outside line in iRacing, unlike console games, you can definitely pull alongside of those. The side draft does kind of play a factor in it too. So the bumping, obviously, we know from being iRacing drivers ourselves, Chad, you don't push the pusher. But who makes that mistake? Who makes the first mistake? And who makes the first big move to try to go from the back to the front? Who stays in the back the whole race and waits for the end and then comes out of nowhere and may pull off a win, Chad? It's kind of a, any one of these 42 drivers out on track tonight could pull off this win, and there's no better way to feel great about winning a race that is four little girls' dream of building all-inclusive playgrounds. Charlie's Playground Foundation that we're doing this for. Like we said, these drivers alone raised over $750 just between their entry fees of getting into this race and their personal donations into the race as well for the donation that's going to go out there. But if you're watching on Twitch and you're able to drop bits or anything like that, whatever's dropped tonight will go into that donation pot as well. There's also the GoFundMe page that I was talking about earlier that I put out in the chat. I will continuously be putting that out in the chat tonight in certain spots here. So definitely be paying attention if you want to go to that GoFundMe and drop some money in there, whether it's $1, whatever you've got to spare to get into this GoFundMe to get these playgrounds and things like that built for this little girl's dream. Go do it. So, but Shad, right now, Brad Herman in his white and black kind of discount tire looking paint scheme, but it's not. It's the Customer Club Zeus paint scheme, and he's got his 85 Toyota out front. I'm kind of surprised to see Brad Herman in Toyota, Shad.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him drive a Yoda, but he's in one for this race. As I don't know if you've seen there, but the 2 of Brandon Bass dropped out of this pack. He was second in line on the bottom and decided to put it down on the apron and ride around, and now he's at the back of this pack. As sees a few guys, looks like another guy's going down there as well. I think maybe they're starting to realize this 10 laps mark is coming up and maybe they don't want to be in this mess. But I'm starting to see guys, Kurt, getting a little squirrely up front. And it's getting a little bit more dangerous up there is what it's looking like to me. A few guys having a little trouble, I think, seeing when these corners are coming. And they're having a little hard time right now holding their lines. And that's how quickly you could easily clip somebody's bumper and turn them. But still out front in that outside line, Kurt's going to be the 85 of Brad Herman with Justin Aniscock in the 13 right behind him, as those two have been working together since the drop of this green flag, Kurt, and it's just opposite order of what it was when they started. But here we are, Kurt, lap 10, and we got guys on the backstretch going to that third line, and who else is it? It's Tyler Dohart.
Not surprised.
I was going to say that it was probably going to be him. I seen him on the outside line already.
I kind of figured it would be him or Mike York. Mike York is known for going 3 wide, does not care.
They're really starting to split this field up right now, as it looks like Dale Rapp now is going to be stuck in the rabbit hole as we're 4 wide, Kurt, coming across the start-finish line.
They took that 10-lap thing seriously because they stayed in line for 10 laps, and as soon as they were able to do it, they went for it. And you see guys going from the back to the front. Look at Justin now dropping back through the field. Is he seeing what's going on with guys moving to the front and saying, you know what, I don't want a part of this right now. I'll wait till the end to come back up to the front because we've got guys out front, Chad, that we've never seen before. Mason Hosman in the 5 right now out front in his paint scheme. The 75 of Nick Sipple, I've never seen him either. He is out front in that bottom row in that 75. 88 of Mike Allen out there running his paint scheme up on the high side right now, coming around, trying to get the side draft a little bit on that 75, but the outside line's kind of stalled because we've got 3 lines going. Now we've got the 12 of Mark Morton making slicing cuts up into the top line from the middle, Chad.
Yeah, there's not enough trucks right now in that third groove. There was only about 4 of them up there. And with Mark Morton going up there now, they have 5. I think they might be able to, well, as they just lost one. So they need a couple more trucks up in that high line, and I think they could make it work. But right now, as it looks like, oh, they're going to gain 2 more on the backstretch as uh, Josh Arnold brings a truck with him, and they jump up in front of that third line. And now I think they have enough trucks to where we can have some serious 3 wide racing, as all the lines now are formed. Bottom's still a
Are
little
we
spread
surprised
out.
to see Josh Arnold up in the third lane leading from the outside, Chad? How many times have we seen
Not at
that
all.
happen?
Yeah, not at all. And he does have that 00 Casey Wygent behind him. There's some pretty good drivers, trucks out there on that third line, so I wouldn't be surprised if that line starts to make some serious moves. But it's
I'm
yeah,
watching here. We're 3x3 for the first about 8 rows, Chad. It's pretty crazy. Everybody, it looks like a 3 wide salute running around this thing at 190 miles an hour right now, and I don't know how long it'll last.
yeah, the 75 of Nick Seipel, he decided to back out of it. I don't think he liked what he was seeing up there. As right now, Curtis, kind of the bottom and the very top line that are making the moves as Josh Arnold and Pacey Wygant jump off of that line and go to the middle. The middle line was struggling there. They were kind of breaking up, but now with those 2 trucks jumping down into that middle lane, it's going to make that lane form back up. And yeah, we're going to be tight. The bottom line curve right now has the fewest amount of trucks with only about 4 in tow. They have some more as we got a truck in the wall, Kurt, actually, as we head off into turn 1 and farther back in the pack. Not sure what happened there. I didn't see
It's a
anything.
17 of Rodney
Um,
Ayers. He's got
yeah,
some
not.
heavy right side damage. He's going to have to go down pit road. He's got some front end damage, too.
Yeah, now the top lane, Kurt, is starting to lose some trucks, and they're starting to lose that momentum as it now shifts back to the bottom and the middle line. This is how quickly around here these guys can lose their runs as guys shift from one lane to another. It hurts the lane they left. But that 85 of Brad Herman, he is pushing Mark Morton in that 12 very hard to try to keep that lane in the right direction as far as the momentum train.
Yeah, Chad, and just to let you know, we have over 70 people watching right now between the 3 different places on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook right now. These guys are showing up. People are coming in to watch these guys run around this track to raise money. As I've stated before, I have dropped the GoFundMe for Charlie's Playground at Saddlewood Elementary into the Twitch chat and the Facebook chat. I will get around to dropping it in the YouTube chat as well. But there are guys that I'm kind of surprised to see him up here at the front. Mike Allen, he's usually a middle pack or backpack at the start of these races, kind of waiting and biding his time back there, waiting for the race to come to him. And he has decided to take his Charlie's Light paint scheme with Charlie right on the hood, right to the front of the field shed.
Yeah, Mike Allen's a very good, super speedway racer. It's just he seems to always be one of those guys that gets caught up in someone else's mess. But yeah, he's down there leading that bottom line right now. The bottom line looks to me to be the strongest. It's got the most cars, and they look to be formed up pretty well. The middle would be the second with that J. Paul, you know, Josh Arnold, University of Auburn truck. Is they're getting a great run coming off of turn 2. They look to be very strong right now, and that third line, Kurt, has pretty much fizzled out as all the guys have pretty much left that line. So we've gone back pretty much to a two line race, and it looks like Josh Arnold's going to cut down in front of Mike Allen and take over the lead, maybe if he can hold on to it. But that middle line is coming back.
Yeah, and I mean, Josh Arnold, like I say, he's, in my opinion, one of the best super speedway racers I've seen on iRacing in a lot of different leagues. Doesn't matter where he goes. He's got his own league on Friday nights that he runs, NOR. They do a lot of different racing styles. They've run the old 87s in iRacing. They've run different series and things like that. And he's just, ever since console days, I mean, we had a rule designed by J-Paw for Super Speedway Racing so that it wasn't, too easy for him and his group of friends that he has to lock together and just control the race. Because on console, you couldn't really run the high side. You had to be a bottom feeder. You could make some moves on the top if you had the right amount of cars. But on iRacing, it doesn't need a whole big group. Look at the 61 right now. going to the front as well. That 61 of Nicholas Hunter with Doug Evans behind him trying to push him through. And Doug's going to split him and go to the outside, Chad, 3 wide with Terry Radford right behind him in the 60, trying to take a third line up to the front. They're going to leave the 61 of Nicholas Hunter in that sucker hole, and he's going to go floating to the back.
Yeah, it's starting to break up quite a bit. I think a lot of guys are starting to work their way to the bottom, Kurt, as I believe pit stops should be coming up here very shortly in the next 1 to 2 laps, as I stated, but nobody heard me with the audio being messed up. But these guys were getting about 18 to 20 laps as your leaders are coming now. At least most of them are going to come down this time. So right around the 18 lap mark is what we're seeing, especially these guys that were out front leading this pack. Now, these guys that are deciding to stay out are probably the guys that have been riding around most of the time in the back of this pack. They might be able to go another lap, possibly 2, but they're going to have to be careful. If you stretch it too far and your truck starts to sputter going down pit road, you can lose a lot of time, and it could make it to where you lose the draft. So we'll have to see who comes down this time, if they have enough to go one more after this.
The guys are coming out of pit road now, Shad. We'll see them get back up to speed and where they come out at. But Doug Evans right now is your current leader. Terry Radford right there in second with the 5 of Mason Hausman right behind him. And they're going to duck on down to the apron, Shad. Who can get in the quickest and out the quickest without breaking the speed limit on pit road? You see a lot of smoking of the tires trying to get down in there as quickly as possible. Oh, and the 47 gets turned into the 0. Right there on pit road, Chad. We've got an incident, but there is not going to be a iRacing caution for that because it happened on pit road. These guys get spun back around and back onto the track here. Those are teammates that ran into each other too. So that tells you right now there is no love loss or advantage of teammates at some point. So every guy wants to come out here and win this race to be the crown champion of this race for the Foundation.
Yeah, speaking of leading this race, there was only one truck that went one more lap, and that's the 71 of Papa Bear, who's going into 3 and 4 right now. I would assume he would be coming down this time. I don't think he can make it 21 laps. And yes, he is ducking off pit road right now. So Papa Bear, the only truck to go to lap 20 on fuel. Only problem for him is he had no drafting help that entire lap, and that's going to hurt him when these guys come back around.
Yeah, right now he's in the middle of pit road, and they've got guys coming out that pitted earlier, the first group, and they're coming through turns 3 and 4 right now, Shad. So if he doesn't get out of here quick, he's going to miss that pack. But then you've got a secondary pack and a third pack and a fourth pack coming down the backstretch as well. So he's got time to fill in on those gaps, but they've got to get together and all stick in a line to catch back up to the leaders that are going to pull away. If they don't, if they get back to 2 wide racing, Chad, it's going to get crazy.
Yeah, he's going to lose this front group of, what is that, about a dozen trucks. But he might be able to hang with this second group that is about to catch him. He needs to quickly get that thing up to speed, but looks
Terry
like
Radford's group, Chad, was able to fill in there.
Yeah, it looks like there's only 2 trucks, and I don't know if he's going to even be able to hang on to them, as he's still trying to get up to speed. So
he's got another pack coming behind him. The 38 back there has a group of trucks with him as well. And I don't even know who the 38 is tonight. I have to go through, since we have so many drivers on track. It was hard to get to know every driver before this thing started, but there's a group back there with the 3. So let me find the 3 truck real quick, and that's Joshua Roberts. So that's this group right here that Papa Bear is going to have to fill in once he comes back around. And actually, it was a 38 that's registering, but it's actually a 29 on his truck. So improper number on the side there. But that's going to be difficult because they've only got about 9 trucks compared to the front pack that looks to be about, what is that, about 15, 14?
They picked up a few lap down trucks. So yeah, it's I don't know, looking at it, looks about like 12 to 15 trucks. But, I mean, 9 is enough to make up time, especially with this front group all side by side. But the 9's going to have to be very diligent on not trying to pass one another, staying in line, pushing as hard as they can, and maybe you'll make up some time this run, but it might take you 2 or 3 runs before you catch this group. So, you might need a caution because Kurt, we're already 23 laps into this race, and right now these guys on fuel, they're gonna pit at least 2 more times. So that only gives these guys 2 runs to try to reel that group back in. So they're gonna have to hurry. And I'm actually surprised, Kurt, we've gone this far already with not a caution. So these guys are keeping it pretty green and clean right now as we're quickly running these laps off. And there's a bunch of trucks, Kurt, that are finding themselves a lap down. I don't know if that was because they had penalties or they just lost the draft from the few, wall bangers that we did have there in that first run. But this front pack of like 15 trucks has really separated themselves from the rest of the field.
Yeah, I'm noticing some of them here. Mike Campbell the third, James Coey's down 2 laps, Nick Sipple's down 3 laps, James Munch is down 3 laps, Revan Gear is down 1 lap, and then there's more 1 lappers down behind that. So I'm not sure what happened with those guys. I'm not seeing a long pit stop on any of them besides Jeff Jones, who's 2 laps down. He had a 35.8-second pit stop. Other than that, nobody else had one really over 15. So I think actually no, there is one other. Brandon Bass, who's 1 lap down, had a 21.2 pit stop. So a lot of guys look like they took short pits. They only were in there for about 8 to 11 seconds, which usually, Shad, means only one set of tires and as much fuel as they could put in there.
Yeah, I mean, Talladega, unlike Daytona, it's even even more or less on the tires. So if it's me, if I'm doing this, every time I come down, I'll take opposite tires. Maybe come down that last time and put right sides. This next time I'll put left sides, and then maybe the final time put right sides again. The tires here really aren't that important, but if you're going to be down there for 8, 9 seconds, fuel only. Only way we would actually be able to tell that is by going back and look at the replay of those, this front pack. But right now, Kurt, it's at 85 of Herman with Justin Aniscock right behind him, leading that outside groove of this lead pack. And they go back to about 16th is where the next group is. So, yeah, 15 guys, Kurt, in this lead pack.
I'm also noticing out there in one of the chats, first-time chatter, and that would be James Coey's son, Chris Coey. Chris, I've seen pictures and videos of you playing ball, playing football, and things like that. That James has been posting, or Jim has been posting for a long time now. I've been hearing about you for, it seems like, probably 6 or 7 years now. But glad to have you out there in the chat. We've got now over 70 people watching through 3 different social platforms, Shad, and there's a lot of people coming out of the woodwork to watch this race for childhood cancer stories and things like that for Charlie's Playground fundraising event. There's a lot of people out in the field with different kind of paint schemes. They've either designed themselves, they've had paint schemes designed by different paint scheme designers like yourself, Shad, with your SS Motorsports on Facebook and a couple other places too that people can go to and have them have a truck designed. The 12 of Mark Morton has one right now. It says Childhood Strong. Pacey Wygent's running Sophia the Fierce that we did a fundraising event for as well. He's running that paint scheme. I really like that paint scheme. Obviously, I like the black and yellow or black and gold, whatever you want to call it, because it's Steelers colors. But just love that paint scheme. It looks awesome. You've got pink, you've got purple, you've got Easter. It looks like an Easter egg hunt out here.
Truck being turned in that front pack. He is able to save it, but I think he's going to lose that draft. That came off the nose of Terry Radford.
Yeah, he's going to lose the draft on that one. He's a little ways back now, but yeah, that was off the front bumper of Terry Radford, it looked like.
Yeah, going through this trial, you have to be very careful. Like I said, one, it's hard to see with that big spoiler in front of you from the cockpit of these trucks. And if you just get off center just a little bit, and you're right there pushing somebody, that's what can happen. And I think that's what happened to that 41 truck off the nose of Terry Radford is just misalignment with the push and great save though by him to one not come back up into this front field and two keep it going and fortunately it's going to cost him this lead draft, but you never know, caution could easily happen. You know, these 14 trucks now up in this lead group can easily cause a wreck of their own. So
Yeah, I don't see this thing going green all the way to the end, Chad. If we
no,
go
that
80
would
laps without having a caution, that would be a massive miracle at Talladega. So, but yeah, I mean, caution is what's going to happen for those guys that have lost the lead pack in the draft. Even the groups that have, you know, multiple cars in their packs, they're just not able to run each other down. Now, if all those little, you know, droplets of packs of cars back there, if they all were somehow able to get together and get into a line, then maybe they could run these guys down if they went bumper to bumper and really pushed the drafting to get back to these guys. But I just don't see it happening. So a caution is what's going to have to be brought out for these guys. We're riding around right now inside the cockpit view to see what guys are seeing while they're driving. We were talking about that giant spoiler, and the ability to see around these trucks is very, very slim for these drivers. Some drivers will sit up a little higher in their seat. Some drivers will have their kind of helmet tipped a little bit so they can see to the front, almost to the edge of the front of the hood. There's a lot of different things you can do inside the truck to give yourself a little bit more of an ability to see, but you lose other angles while you're doing that. I mean, you could zoom in right to the dash almost and eliminate the steering wheel and everything to be looking right at the windshield like a granny looking out the car, but you lose your mirrors. You lose the ability to see all of that. So there's advantages and disadvantages and all around of different styles of driving inside these trucks.
I've been watching that 60 curve. Terry Radford behind.
Lost all audio. I can hear it in my Facebook one. Rock NASCAR says we have lost all audio. Rock, go out there and refresh your screen because I'm listening to it on Facebook as well, and we have full audio. Let me know what you find though, Rock. But Chad, yeah, too wide racing for these front packs.
No audio on Twitch.
On Twitch, we don't have audio. Okay, I'm not sure what to do with that one because it's on Facebook. I don't have a way of just restarting the Twitch one.
Yeah, there's just no audio on Twitch for some reason.
I mean, I just went to YouTube and Facebook and we got audio. I got audio on Twitch.
Oh yeah, I do now too.
Other than my voice sounds like I sucked in some helium. If you have lost audio, please refresh your screen. But yeah, Chad, back to the racing. We've got the 5 of Mason Hausman out front right now. Brad Herman to his outside. Terry Radford in the 6, pushing the 5 right now. Justin Agzanog in the 13, pushing the 85 of Brad Herman. Mark Morton and Enrique Quiona sitting there in the 3rd row. Just kind of 2x2 racing here for the front 16 cars or trucks, Chad.
Yeah, this front group, I don't see anybody making crazy moves. I think they're just trying to get to this next pit stop, which should be coming up here in probably about 3 laps for these group, as pretty much all these guys pitted on lap 18. Just a few guys that I'm a little nervous about. That 60 of Terry Radford, Kurt. He's a little squirrely. I've seen him get down on the apron a few times, and I think he's just having a hard time seeing behind, being right tucked behind that 5 truck of Mason Hausman. But on that outside, Kurt, that 13 and that 85 of Herman and Anaskog, they are looking very good together. And like I said, they've pretty much been nose to tail, either 13 out front or 85 out front. Those two have been nose to tail this entire race, and are working very well together. And they have that 12 of Mark Morton right behind them.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering who makes the move to go down pit road. The more uh, trucks you get to go down pit road, Shad, the more chances of an issue that we could see. So um, we saw two different packs. Those two packs were able to get back together, Shad. We saw J-Paw's group that came down from the lead and Terry Radford and the 5 truck. They came as a separated group as well, and these two groups were able to meet back up. But the other groups that stayed out one more lap or maybe had some issues on pit road, we know there were some trucks that spun at the entrance of pit road. Those guys have all fallen back and are hoping and praying and crossing every finger and toe they can and still drive. That a caution comes out. But if there's going to be a caution, Shad, it's going to be sometime either during this pit stop here or when we get closer to the end, because these guys have been very clean so far. No issues on track. We've had the one on the apron entering pit road where a teammate spun each other and they wound up making some contact, but no caution called for that. So I don't know what's going to happen here, but I'm getting a little antsy because I feel like the drivers inside the cockpit shed, when we've had this many green flag runs at a super speedway like this, you know a caution's coming. You know it's going to happen at some point, and it just feels like you're sitting on the edge of your seat waiting for it to happen.
Yeah, I think right now a lot of these guys are hoping that caution comes out because it looks to me like this front pack is catching that second other lead pack that's off into turn 3 and 4 right now. They look to me like they are catching them. So those guys, they need to get better in line or work better together or something because if it continues like this, obviously they're never going to catch this field. Um, the other pack that's I think yeah, he's got a bunch of lap down cars in the second group. They really haven't lost any time to these leaders, but obviously they're a long way back and not gaining any time on them. So a lot of these guys, Kurt, need that caution to come out. As we're starting to see some shuffling out front, Kurt, as I see like the 12 of Mark Morton, he's working his way down to that bottom line. I think these leaders, Kurt, are going to be coming down here probably this time, if not next time by.
Yeah, look at the 85 and 13 moving back to about fourth and then dropping to the bottom line. You know that means they're getting ready to come down pit road when you start seeing everybody getting single file to go down to the bottom. But look at Pacey Wygen and Josh Arnold on the outside row with the 1 right now trying to come around on the outside. They do not appear to be getting down to the bottom. So they may be either waiting for that reaction of those guys dropping to the apron and then they may try to go, or they may be going another lap. And it looks like they're going to go another lap.
Yeah, you could. Ooh, we got contact, Kurt. 60 of Radford kind of doors the 5. I think he might got a speeding penalty. It sounded like he used a little bit of profanity there as he entered pit road. So Terry Radford in that 60. Yep, I just heard it as he came across 60 speeding penalty.
Now, that's not
Um,
the worst
I
thing to happen, Shed, at a super speedway, because if a caution comes out, you can always get back up there. It's a huge track, so a penalty like that does not really, end your race. You could fall back in line. You might go a lap down, especially if you don't come out with any drafting partners, which most of the time you probably won't if you're on pit road. But he's got another pack about to come down pit road, Shad, that he could fall in line with that 30-second penalty.
Yeah, I think Radford's going to need the help of a caution as if he goes a lap down, there's going to be a ton of cars that he's going to be fighting for that lucky dog. As it looks like now the rest of the lead pack that did not pit last time by, they came down this time, and that's going to include that 00 Pacey Wygen, that 22 of Josh Arnold. Both of them making their way down pit road now. As that first group, all of them are coming out and entering turn 3 right now.
Ooh, another group coming down pit road too. Look at the eight trucks are coming down right now to try to hit pit road, and no incidents between those, Shad. And that's one of the things. Some guys say, I don't want to come with a big pack. I don't want to come with guys that I may not know what they're going to do. Some guys like to come with their friends. Some guys like to come with guys that they know from different leagues and things like that. There's a lot of different things that are calculated into when you come to pit road, and some of it is a necessity because you've gone an extra lap, and you may still not like who you're going to be pitting with, and you have to take that risk because you can't go another lap. So we're green flag running here now for 39 laps, coming to lap 40, Shad, and no caution so far through this 40 lap run that we've got out of 80 laps. So we're at the halfway point.
Yeah, and back out front, Kurt, the only man that's been going long in this race has been that 71 of Papa Bear, as he's now made it to halfway. I'm sure he's going to be coming down this time, but he's in a group, Kurt, of 5 trucks. As he just came across the radio now saying he is coming this time, but yeah, 71, Kurt, in a group of lap down cars, has been able to save fuel again and not go down a lap to these leaders. So if this was to keep cycling out, Kurt, staying green, Papa Bear could find himself being the only one to make it on just one more stop. Um, to where I think a lot of that lead pack, Kurt, is not going to be able to make it on one more stop based on how they've been pitting.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it
Papa Bear right
depends.
now
They
is
could save
setting
that half
himself.
lap or a lap and one more run, Chad, right?
Uh,
Or two more runs, essentially. When they come down and they pit, then they get that second part of the run. They could
well,
save a
they
lap, couldn't they?
they pit the first time on lap 18, then they pit this last time on what 37, I think.
Yeah.
So that means I got to go 43 laps in the next 2 runs. That means you got to go 22 and then 21. That's going to be mighty hard, especially now, Kurt. That front pack is broken up.
So you're gonna have
So
to save a lap each run this next two runs then, which is that's. I mean, Enrique's sitting there and he pitted 3 laps ago. That was lap 30 or 38. If they're gonna go another 18, 19, he's leading the pack though. That's where you're gonna burn the most fuel is by pulling the pack. Those guys sitting back there in third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, deep. Like the 66 of Jim Coey right there in his Rico pig scheme, it's half
I
throttle.
honestly think, Kurt, if none of these guys in this front pack make it to lap 59, then none of them will make it to the end on one more stop. They're going to have to go to 59. That would leave 21 laps to go, which means they're going to have to run 22 this time by. So if you're out front, you ain't going to run 22. You need to be towards the end of this pack or at least in the middle of it.
They might also be
Running.
anticipating a caution, so
Yeah, but
that
right
might
now,
be
the way
something
these
too.
guys, I mean, this field is spread out. We have 3 large groups of cars. Um, a lot of them being lapped down. And really, realistically, right now, the only truck that I think can make it on just one more stop is that 71 of Papa Bear. Now, Papa Bear cannot lose drafting help. He needs to make sure, which it looks like right now, he's by himself. Yeah, he was actually by himself right now, so that's not good for him either. He needs to get behind somebody if he wants to keep this strategy up, or else he's going to fall right back into the same strategy as everyone else. But if he can get some help, whether it's behind him or in front of him, as I do see some trucks behind him, so he could possibly link up with them. If he can get some help, I think Papa Bear's right now is the only truck that can make it on one more stop. But yes, that caution could always come up and throw a wrench into his plans or in everybody else's. I know there's a whole bunch of drivers out there right now that are hoping for a caution, especially the guy that's sitting in that lucky dog position, which I think right now is that one truck of Joe Tardif right now has that lucky dog position. But there is, yeah, I think it is Joe Tardif right now that's sitting there. And then James Coey-Kurt in that 66 machine, he's right there too, 1 lap down. So those guys would love a caution right now. Some of these guys could probably stay out since we just pitted and maybe get the wave around if the leaders do pit, which I think they would because of
Probably hope for
obviously
another
the fuel
caution.
strategy. But yeah, a lot of these guys need a ton of cautions to get back as there's a ton of trucks hurt multiple laps down.
And I'm trying to figure out what happened to Josh Arnold in this group back here with the 41. They pit that 1 lap after the original pack that came down, that came out in the front, and they're about 16 seconds back, Shad, from the leaders. So I'm not sure
They
what
kick
happened
tires.
back there. I'm 11.4 was Josh Arnold's pit stop. Curtis Ecker in the 19 had a 9.7. Doug Evans in the 41, who's leading that pack, had a 7.9. So I don't think so.
What did Josh Arnold have?
11.4.
Yeah, so that's only 2 seconds. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like something happened either with his pit stop time or exit time or something, because he lost the front pack and they were, I mean, they were a smaller pack when they
Well,
came
he
down pit
pitted with
road.
the 00 Pacey Wygent. They
Yeah, who's
stayed
up here
out
in
that one
second?
extra lap. Yeah, who's in second. So, um, I don't know. Maybe Josh Arnold maybe got loose or something on exit, or either that or he just had that 2 second longer stop than the rest of that group he came with and lost the draft and decided to fall back with this other group. But um, yeah, I don't know. That's strange for him to lose that amount of time with just having a 2 second longer stop.
Oh, we got a big wreck, Shad. Big wreck. The 61 and
And there
36 are
is
going
that
around.
caution, Kurt. And
Oh, and the 12 is involved too.
I believe James Coey, Kurt.
I think he just made it through there. I think he's going to be a lucky dog. I don't see him involved in it, so
He is up front, Kurt.
yeah.
He was running with the leaders, so I believe James Coey, Kurt, is going to get that lucky dog. He did make his way in front of the one of Tardif. Those two were right there with the lead group fighting over that lucky dog position, and I think James Coey's going to be the one that gets it.
Well, let's take a look back, Shad, at this caution here. Not really sure what started it, but we'll go back. I know I saw the 36 go sideways, so we'll go and try to find the 36 car here of Michael Pardusky, um, and I'll try to get zoomed in on them and figure out what happened here. So there is the 36. He went 3 wide with the 66 and 61,
Oh,
Shad. Made contact with the 66, sent him to the apron. 36 gets wobbly and goes right up into the 61 and 1. Nowhere to go for the 61. Uh, kind of a, I don't know. Didn't look like he left James Coey a lot of room there on the bottom line. He was in the middle and kind of floated down to him. So let's take a look here again. Pardusky's on the white line. Coey's down there on the yellow. Pardusky comes down to the next line, and Coey comes up to the first line, and they just meet in the middle there.
Yeah, it's like I mean that's obviously on the 36. It looks like I don't know if he's coming down to side draft.
That tri-oval is
Um,
hard though, Shad. You've got what 4 or 5 lanes there in the tri-oval that you could decide to
yeah,
go down to the bottom.
yeah, and that bottom lane is really hard because
It's
it's like
bumpy.
really flat right down by the line. Yeah, it's really bumpy. It's really flat, but then that you only get one line, and then that seam that separates the first lane to the second lane, it's like a difference in banking almost. And it looked like Coey might have hit that seam a little bit. His truck went up just a tad, and I don't know if the 36 was trying to come down to side draft, or maybe he just got sucked in from being that close to other trucks. But it definitely came down across on Coey. Coey was able to keep it straight, but unfortunate for Perdusky, he went up and around into the outside line, which is where Joe Tardif was, Kurt. So um, I don't believe he got terrible damage, but a truck that was farther back in that wreck did get terrible damage, and that's going to be that 12 of Mark Morton. His truck's smoking quite a bit, so he's going to have to use that fast repair.
Yeah.
But this pretty much takes the strategy of fuel right out the window. Everyone's going to come this time, top off, and then from here it's going to be one stop. And it's just depending on when you do make that, you're going to have to make some friends and make sure you come down with, I would say, at least minimum of 5 trucks. If you don't come down with at least that, I think you won't, have the speed to hang with anybody that does come with more than 5.
Well, we've got the 00 out front, Shad, as the lead lap cars have already made their stops. Now the 1 lap cars are staying out and hitting pit road because they're 1 lap down. So if you want to pull up that 00 Pacey Wygen, who is our current leader, we'll give a little bit of a chat to your good buddy Pacey. First and only time we've been able to talk to a driver all night because we've had 0 cautions tonight until now.
All right. Pace is in here.
All right, Pacey, we brought you up to the booth because it's the first time we've been able to talk to somebody, and you are our current leader. What are you seeing out on track, and how is the driving styles of the guys on track? What's the aggression look like out there?
Uh, Aggression's been. I don't really know. It's been kind of all behind me. I'm not really sure. It was pretty aggressive that first stint. I don't know. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are just saving the second stint, trying to save fuel. But there will be no saving fuel now. It's a one stop. So it's been fun. Can't believe I'm the leader. It's a massive lobby.
Well,
But yeah.
any shout outs for you? Anything you want to say about this foundation event that we're running for? I know you got Sophia the Fierce on your truck as well.
Um, I I I don't know where to begin. Just shout out to a lot of people. Papa for making this all happen. Well, and I guess Mike Allen, I believe. Um, Shout out to you guys for actually broadcasting it. It's a blast out here. Just shout out to Sophia, even though this isn't for her. I mean, she's not doing so well right now, but definitely big shout out to her. I'm gonna wear her on my truck the rest of the season. So, well, and turned down for what? It's just my truck scheme. Okay, we'll just go with that.
Well, Shad, any questions for your good buddy as we're getting ready to get to the end of the backstretch before we send him back down?
Uh, I guess Pacey, you still got that fast repair. You've been up front most of the day. How aggressive are you going to be here? As you know, there's only one pit stop left.
I'm gonna try to keep in my track position for sure. I'm not gonna, pull any outrageous blocks or anything like that. We'll save that for later in the race. But I mean, just I got a shot if I'm in it still at the end. So I guess that's all we can hope for.
Well, Pacey, we appreciate you coming up into the booth. It's been a pleasure to watch you, and definitely a pleasure all the times I've seen you on track and raced against you. Wish I was out there on track with you. It looks like a lot of fun. Let's bring it home and try to go for that win.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Chad, send him back down to the channel he was in. Pace truck is dropping down onto the apron, and we're going to fire these trucks off again with some riding around in different views, and we will go to a side-by-side view of that. Back under green here for Charlie's Playground Foundation event. We've got 70 people out in 3 different platforms right now watching this event. We appreciate all of you that are out there and people that have been chatting all night. It's a great event that Turned Down for What has put together here. They've done multiples, like I said, the Sophia the Fierce one that they did, the Justin Strong one they did, the event they did for Papa Bear's son back when we were in NR on console. They've done several of these, and Papa Bear is really passionate about continuing to do events like this where they can bring drivers together for great causes and try to get money donated to those great foundations and events and things like that that need support. So we appreciate all of you out there tuning in tonight and trying to figure out who is going to take home this victory tonight. And it's a lot of action left, Shad. We've got 32 laps. We've got one more pit stop possibly going to happen under green.
Yeah, and now with that caution, Kurt, 27 trucks, Kurt, now all within, all back together. So this is a caution that a lot of guys were looking for. It's grouped the entire field back up. I think, who is it? Lance Durham, I think, is the guy in 30th right now that's sitting in that lucky dog position as they run currently. But, yeah, Kurt, the entire field linked back up, and who's out front? It's going to be that 78 of Tyler Dohar on the outside line. And then he's got that 5 of Mason Hausman, another truck, Kurt, up front pretty much all day. And he's pretty much in the same position. He's been up front all day on that bottom line. So he's shown to be a guy that can run these super speedways as it sits right now. Another truck that's up there, Kurt, is that 85 of Brad Herman on the outside line behind Dohar. Lost his drafting partner, though. 13 of Justin Aniscock down on the bottom line now. So those two are not linked together. And then we have Kurt, a truck I haven't really noticed tonight so far until now. Is that 19 of Curtis Ecker sharp looking truck. He's sitting in that third row of the outside line as they're going by right now. Kurt, the one truck of Joe Tardif.
Yeah, Joe had to come down and use that fast repair, but he's back on track with a brand new truck. But he is currently going a lap down, so he's going to try to fill in a gap somewhere here to try to stay in that lucky dog spot as well, ahead of that 30th place car or truck. While we're back here, Green Chat, why don't we go ahead and take a break, drink a sip of whatever you've got to clear that throat. I'm going to do the same, and we'll take a quick break here. We'll do a crank it up session instead of a side-by-side and watch a commercial. We'll do a crank it up session. If you got the volume turned up, I'm going to turn it up a little bit more, so try not to blow out the speakers on your cell phones or however you're watching this event. But we'll be right back after this break. All right, we're coming back out of that crank it up session, and we've got a caution out on track, Chad. We've got a car that was spun up into the wall, and a lot of carnage. So we'll go and try to find this incident here as the caution came out, and we'll take a look from inside. We were actually in the cockpit of one of the drivers that was trying to drive through that mess. So we'll take a look here as we go back to Justin Anskonok in the 13, and we'll take a quick look to see where this started at. There it is. So it's the 60 pushing the 41 again, Chad.
Oh yeah, they did have trouble earlier.
Yeah, that's the second time that's happened, and I don't know what the deal is there. It's is it two Chevys?
It's just not these trucks to push To push you have to be lined up pretty much perfect, and Terry found himself towards the left side of that bumper of the 41, and just that little bit of a push that he gave him is what turned him in front of the second half of the field. That's twice now Terry Radford's done that to that 41. This time, unfortunately, though, that 41 is not able to save it. But I do believe most of those guys involved in this accident, as there was a lot of them, I think a lot of them still have fast repairs available.
And apparently, while we were in that crank it up session, there was some audio issues on YouTube or something, because I got some people out there saying there was no audio on YouTube. So I'm not sure what's going on with these different groups tonight. We had an issue with Twitch with sound. We now have an issue with YouTube with sound. I don't know what that is. Never had that issue before, so I'm not sure what's going on there. We will do another crank it up session here if we can within the next 24 laps before this race is over, and try to figure out what's going on with the sound. So it's weird because I can hear myself on Facebook in the background. So I guess I'll switch to YouTube and see what the problem is there. If you guys have audio in any of one of the 3 social media platforms that we're playing on tonight, please let me know if you can hear sound, because I'm floating between the 3 that I have on my phone, and I've got sound on all 3 of them, so I'm not sure exactly what was going on there.
I've got sound for watching it on Twitch. I've got sound.
I've got it on Facebook, and I just switched to YouTube, and I've got sound, so I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if it's if you're on the social media platform too long, if maybe the audio's cutting out and you just have to refresh it, but I'm not really sure. Well, Shad, before we go back to green here, it looks like Tyler Dohar in the 78 is going to be our current leader when we do wind up going back green, unless he bails on it here. Does not look. It looks like all the leaders have pitted. So if you want to grab that 78 of Tyler Dohar, bring him up in here, and we'll talk to him about today's race at Talladega for this event.
Oh, I'm sure Tyler will be happy to join us up here in the booth.
Not like we haven't talked to him before.
Chat, see him first. Tyler Dohar.
All right,
Hello.
Tyler, we've got you up here in the booth. That 78 filter time machine looking pretty good. You're able to avoid some of the carnage. We've had 2 incidents on track as of right now that brought out cautions. We had one on pit road as well that did not bring out a caution. But how is your truck feeling tonight, and do you have what it takes to take it home tonight in first place?
I mean, we're feeling pretty good right now. We've been kind of just riding along. We started up front, kind of moseyed our way to the back of the front pack, and really just kind of been riding from there. Just trying to gauge who we can push, who we work with really well. So right now we're kind of linked up with Brad Herman in the 85 and the 13 of Justin. So we're going to see what we can do here. We got one more pit stop to go, but I'm feeling comfortable about where we're at because we got good track position and some clean air for our filter time Silverado.
Right now, we've been kind of just riding.
That was going to be my question to you, Dohar. Do you think anyone can stretch of those 22 laps? As we've seen all night, 71 of Papa Bear going 20 laps when the rest of you guys pretty much have been going 18 or 19.
It'd be very, very tough, but I just don't think you can. I don't think that's the move either. So we got an interesting pit strategy lined up, the 85-13 so we're gonna see if it works out here, if we get the green flag laps to be able to do it. But we're excited. We're sitting in a good position, and just honestly blessed to be a part of this. For Charlie's Playground, and big shout out to Papa Bear, and I know Mike Allen kind of headed that, and then you guys obviously picking up the boost slot when something happened with Pete. So thank you guys for just being able to put this on for us.
Well, Tyler, we definitely appreciate it, and we're no stranger to seeing you up front, so we'll see if you can bring it home tonight in the first spot and win this inaugural Charlie's Playground event, and we'll send you back down to your team and see what comes of this final 22 laps that's going to happen here.
It's gonna be fun, boys. Let's have at it. I hope we're 3 wide and everybody's everywhere. Without some wrecking. Let's go for it.
All right, Chad, send that 78 down to his teammates, and we'll see what we can get going here if these guys are going to be able to make it through to the end.
Well, as you heard it there, there's going to be at least one pit stop, Kurt. So now the strategy is you got to have a group of guys going with you, whether you break this in half or you come down within these first 5 laps, top off and take it from there. But green flag back out, Kurt. Tyler Dohar gets the jump. I assume he's going to jump up to that top lane and pick up his buddy in that 85 of Brad Herman, as he does. And everybody else backed. Double file. Oh, Tyler Dohar does come back down, blocks off that run of the bottom line. I wouldn't be surprised though if he goes back up top though and picks up his buddy.
Yeah,
And
I'm
it
seeing
looks
the
like
19,
Kurt,
and he's moving back up to get the 85.
looks like Joe Tard of Kurt was our lucky dog that time. So now we have 28 trucks on the lead lap, Kurt. And I think if you don't have any damage, if you're any of those 28 trucks, you have a shot at the win here tonight.
Yeah, I mean right now though, Shad, I can't say anything because obviously we still have 22 laps to go. 21 when they hit the line right here, and we've seen it. The caution can come from anywhere there. As I try to spit that out,
But today,
yeah, I knew that was coming. But I mean, you could be spun as the leader. You could be spun as 10th place. You could be spun as 20th place. The caution can come from anywhere on this track at any point during the race, whether it's this lap, next lap, or the last lap.
caution out, Kurt.
And
Towards the back of the pack, I
call that
see
one?
the 52, the 54 slow on the track map.
Yeah, 54 is parked on the apron with some smoke coming out the back, so I think he might be sitting there or going to be towing it. But the 52 of Dale Rapp has got some major damage on the back end, Chad. We'll take a look here as we try to pull this up and figure out what happened to these guys. But it's looking like some pretty good damage there, so we're going to pull it up now and pull up the 52. Actually, I'll go to the 54, and we'll take
22
a
of
look.
J. Parker is involved.
So it looks like Josh was kind of hanging back here, Shad. That strategy of just sitting back, relaxing, waiting for things to happen, and he kind of floats up the track 54. Ooh, that's... Oof. I'm not going to say that's on J-Paw or the 54. That's
29.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to figure that one out myself.
Ooh, this is 29. I don't even see a 29 on the board.
No, it's the wrong number. 29 floats up and clips the 54, which turns him right into the 22. I believe that is... Where did I see that earlier? Somebody's in the wrong number. That's what it is. Oh, where's the 29? It's Nathan Line in the 38 is who that is supposed to be, Shad. But that will bring out our third caution. So we've got now 20 laps to go. They're coming to 19 to go under caution, Chad, and I don't think we're done. I think cautions breed cautions, and I think we're about to see a few of them. But we've got a couple takers down pit road also from the lead lap cars. We've got the 78 of Tyler Dohar and
I lost your audio, Kurt.
I'm still here.
Oh, okay. You just weren't talking.
I was trying to figure out what was going on. I was seeing some flickering of drivers, so I wasn't sure what was going on there. But the 78 and 85, Brad Herman coming down pit road. Mike Campbell III will now become our leader, Shed. For right now, I don't know if he's going to wind up staying there, though. He did not pit this time. He stayed out. He's on 6-lap-old tires, 6 laps of fuel used. But that is Papa Bear's son. So Papa Bear's son, Mike Campbell III, out here running. Jonathan Pugh going to be sitting in second. Terry Radford in third in that 60. Tyler Dohar is going to wind up starting fourth on this restart once he gets by these guys here. But I don't know, Shad. This caution helps those guys that stayed out. So we've seen tires don't matter. We've seen fuel is what the biggest concern is here. With 19 laps to go, guys who just pitted right there should be able to make it easily. Guys who pit 6 laps to go, Shad, can they save enough while being under caution.
Well, see, they needed to save what about 2 laps, 3 if you're out front of this pack. So I don't know if these caution laps are going to give them an opportunity to save 3 laps. Um, it could be close. I think if I'm one of those guys, I would have pitted, topped off, made sure I'm good to go to the end.
I mean, if
For
they're hoping for another caution, it doesn't matter because the guys who just pitted right now should be able to make it to the end. So they're probably not going to pit
yeah,
again.
no, I don't. I wouldn't think so unless they're got some damage or something. But I would think anybody that just pitted, they're going to be good to go to the end. Guys that stayed out, I think they're probably riding around right now trying to shut this thing off or hit the clutch and ride around. Um, they're kind of, I don't know, they're putting themselves in a dangerous position. I think, especially at a super speedway where it's so easy to lose the lead. So I don't know if this is a strategy call I would have made, but for Papa Bear's son, Mike Campbell III, this is what he felt like he needed to do to put that 11 machine out front, and that's what he's got right now. The only problem to me, Kurt, is you got that 60 behind him, and that 60's turned turned truck twice now. Hopefully, Terry's learned from those mistakes and has realized you pretty much got to be dead square with the truck in front of you to push. But
Oh, Shad,
yeah,
since you're talking about that 60, why don't you bring him up here and we'll ask him what he's doing out there, see what his answer is here.
let's see if I can find him.
He's down in chat 7. Mr. Terry Radford, you got a copy? This is Swats and Cadillac up in the
Everybody
booth.
checked up going into pit road back here in the back, but about
Terry, you're
15
in the
people
booth.
back checked up, so I was kind of screwed. Oh, hey, what's up, man?
Hey, we're trying to figure out what's going on with the front of your car. You got a shovel on there or something? Because you've kind of given the shove to two guys there. What's it going to be like finishing this race from up front as well?
Well, we ain't gonna be up here long, I'll tell you that. Kind of made a mistake going on pit road. Everybody checked up in front of me, and I yanked the thing to the right to miss him, so I wouldn't hit him. I lost my fast repair because obviously I gave an untimely push. But I said, there's people watching. You got to give a show. 3 wide outside, high, wide, and handsome. You got to let her rip tater chip on that outside lane. I figured to give the viewers on all the platforms on KS Gamer 51 a good show here this afternoon, and it ain't often I get to run up front, so I wanted to make it count.
Oh, we had a lot of green flag runs, and then you decided to throw a little break in there for us twice. So we appreciate that. We were able to take a little common break and talk to a couple different drivers, but we are going into turn 3 and 4. So, Shad, you got a quick question for this 60?
How shiny is that snowplow on the front of that thing?
Well, I tell you, if we're coming up for that tri-oval and I see the win out in front of me, it might be pretty big. But I tell you what, you guys are more than welcome to keep me up here for this lap. We're going into the gears. I'm pretty content. I'm bored down here.
Things at once, Terry?
Yeah, oh yeah. This 11's a really good person to give a push. He's actually the one that helped me catch up here. So we'll see if I'm able to actually get him and actually keep him on my front bumper. This Miracle Flow 60 is fantastic. I kind of promised everybody that we would double the pot if I won. So we're gonna give her hell and we're gonna make it work. But this Geico restart zone, I'm telling him to go. He missed it. I jacked him up there. At 69, beat him on the start there.
Yeah, I don't
You
know
watch
if
me.
you beat him to the end.
He beat him. I'm about to give us 11 a big old push down the back straightaway and watch these temps blink. Watch how far we're going to get ahead of everybody here. I'm going to show you some tandem drafting.
I'm getting ready for Shad's zinger when you turn the 11 here for doing that. But
Oh, I'm not going to turn him. Watch. Here we go.
Famous
We're going to
last
hook up to
words.
the back. I'm going to push him right here in that middle logo of the Chevy. That 11 man can take a push. He's got a really good wheel on him. I need him in official lobbies.
Well, Terry, we're not going to take away too much here, but we're going to send you back down to your team down there that you're with. But good luck and keep the front side pointed to the right direction here.
Yeah, I appreciate everything y'all did for this, and thanks for broadcasting. You guys have done a phenomenal job. I've been listening in, and hi, Mom.
Hey, Terry.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and send him back down to his team. And
Oh, that's what I did. I
that's
did
what,
the Hey
okay.
Terry. Boop.
All right. Well, back to the racing. We've got a handful of laps left, Chad. 16 laps to go. Most guys will not need to pit. There might be a couple that could be running close, Chad, but you see a lot of them tucking in. The 11 and 60 were able to stay out, but the 11's leading the pack, Chad, and that's probably not what he needs to be doing right now if he does need to conserve that extra lap or two of fuel. We've got the 00 trying to lead a second line out there, trying to pull the 88 of Mike Allen as well. And then there's a third line forming, Chad, with the 6 truck right now out there with
There's a
Nicholas
fifth.
Hapiak.
I was about to say there's about a fifth lane forming up. Look like a couple trucks down below that yellow line as they went through the triangle. Very treacherous place to be down there, as that's really hard to hold on to your truck or whatever you're driving.
I'm seeing a lot of guys,
around
Chad's
here.
back end wiggling when they're going to push. Is that just a common thing with pushing too hard that it does that?
Yeah, it offsets the truck when you hit somebody in front of you. You're making the front tires go down, the back tires are getting lifted up off the ground, and that's why probably you're seeing a lot more guys squirrely now than when we did at the beginning of this race, because they realize that fuel is not an issue, at least for most of these guys that came down that last time. So, and the intensity curve's picking up. They know there's only what 14 laps to go as we come by the line this time. These guys are fighting for position now. You can't really afford to be going to the back of the pack when you got 3 wide racing in front of you. You really have nowhere to go, so you need to get yourself to the front now. And if you're up front, you want to try to hold on to it, because you do not want to fall back and try to work your way back up. As we see a big time side draft that time with the 00 Pacey Wygent on that 11 of Michael Campbell, the third. But that third line, Kurt, is moving very quickly. They got a lot of trucks up there right now, and this is what we wanted to see, Kurt. 3 wide the entire way around this 2-mile trial. Things are picking up, Kurt.
I'm looking, Chad, for a specific truck that I'm used to seeing at the end of the races, and I'm not seeing Josh Arnold up towards the front. He's in the back right now, but he is on the lead lap, I believe, even after being involved in that incident. So right now he is currently sitting 34th, 2 laps down, sorry. So not going to be up here towards the front, but could be helping another driver or so to get up here. And we've got there's guys switching lanes all over the place up there. But that third lane, that 6 of Nicholas Hapiak, is coming around the outside with the 40 or 31 of Braden Holt, Shad, that we've known in Turn Down for What in that GoDaddy paint scheme. He is pushing that 6, and we've got a little bit of contact there from the middle lane on the outside lane. 3 wide. We go about 7 rows deep.
Yeah, J-Paul, he had the fast repair to fix his truck. The problem is his truck died on him on pit road. He had to tow it, and I think that's what caused him to lose those few laps. Another truck Kurt I'm seeing up towards the front, 3rd row in the top line, is that 24 Cole Snyder in that DuPont paint scheme. Few laps down, but he's up there trying to help anybody he can right now, as obviously he's going to need some cautions and not be involved in to get those laps back. But right now, Kurt, 12 laps to go, 11 when we get to the line this time. The intensity's really starting to pick up. I see a lot of squirrely trucks going on. It means the pushing is getting more and more intense. I think we're going to have a big one here. I don't know. This is pretty crazy.
And Chad, the longer the green flag run goes, the less fuel that's in the truck. Does that offset the truck at all as well, because it gets lighter on those tires?
Oh, for sure. I mean, we hear it all the time in real life NASCAR about how when these cars have a fuel load, it weights them down, especially in the turns. You see the G forces that these trucks pull, and how it sinks the truck into the suspension. When you lighten up the truck, obviously you lighten it off the springs. It doesn't sink as much, and they become even more squirrely, especially when it comes to pushing. So, and I wouldn't be surprised, Kurt, if the tri-oval is really starting to become an issue with these trucks, especially the ones getting pushed. I'm sure they're feeling a lot of the squirreliness as they, obviously their truck's getting jacked in the air by getting pushed so hard.
Ferretman0294 out there in chat saying that he accidentally used his fast repair at one point, Chad, and then was involved in that last wreck and couldn't repair anything. So he is out of this race. Literally, Blue says, I always do that. I've known a lot of drivers to accidentally use their fast repairs. Usually turned down for what doesn't have fast repairs in their next gen series, Chad. So
Trucks too.
Oh, is it trucks now too? Okay. So the turn down for what usually runs their series races without fast repairs. So a lot of these guys here may forget to turn them off because they haven't been using them for multiple seasons now. So, but Chad, we've got 10 to go as we come around out of turn 10 or out of turn 4. We've got 9 laps to go when they hit the line. Pacey Widen on that 00 leading that middle lane. And has taken over the lead, leading a lap right here if he can make it to the line, and he does before the 11. Mike Campbell the third being still pushed by Terry Radford. Terry Radford has not used that big old plow that must be in the front of that truck, Chad. So far, he said the 11 could handle a push. The 11 has done a ton of super speedway racing. Every time I get on, I see him in iRacing super speedway lobbies, Talladega lobbies, Daytona lobbies. The kid runs in constant super speedway lobbies that he can find. So not super surprised to see him up here. I'm just worried about his fuel that he's got left in this truck and whether or not he runs out of fuel before this thing runs out.
Yeah, I heard Radford. Oh, big wreck, Kurt. Taking out. Oh my God, this is the big one.
And that's going to be a big crash for a lot of drivers. There's going to be a lot of different ones in this one. I'm not even sure I can count how many trucks are involved in this one, Chad. We're going to go back and take a look here, though, and figure out what started this whole thing. But there's a lot of drivers that are going to be involved in this. A lot of them that are not going to be coming back out on the track, unfortunately.
Yeah, so what I'm seeing first off is that red truck, the 13 of Justin Aniscock. Him being the sideways truck off the bat. Oh, and it is.
Yeah, so off the nose of the 61.
Yeah, 61 just gives him a bad bump. He was not lined up. And it just turned him. Then 13 gets into the 7 below him. Then the 7 gets into the truck above him that was in front of the 13. And then, of course, you have everyone else behind him just plowing on in.
So let's go for an in-cockpit view of the 13 here. I mean, you can see out the windshield. You can't see anything past the car in front of you, really. So when an incident happens, there's nothing really for drivers to do when they're packed this closely together. And you can see there Justin was pointed straight. There was nothing he could do about it. Got a bad push and just got obliterated by a lot of trucks there. You can see all the carnage in front of him as he's trying to make it to pit road. It's probably going to be half the field involved in this one, Chad, I would think.
Yeah, I just went for a cockpit ride with the 71 of Papa Bear, and you could see the red 13 getting turned sideways. He gets out of the gas, but unfortunately at these speeds, he just doesn't have enough time to get it woed up. And unfortunately for Papa Bear, if he does not have a fast repair, I don't think his truck's going to make it.
Yeah, I could hear what sounded like an engine blow as the truck went through the 13, which I believe was the 71. So,
yeah, there's
because
a
the 31
lot of
was,
blown
or the
motors.
13 was still under power. But yeah, this is not looking good, Chad. But right now, for the viewers out there, it looks like we've got 46 on Twitch, Chad. We've got 19 on Facebook, and we've got 12 out in YouTube. So a lot of people paying attention to the final laps here. We've got 7 to go. Not quite to the green-white checkered yet, Chad, but looking at the 78 being out front again. That 00 of Pacey Widen still out there as well. Brad Herman going to be on the outside. Those three have been kind of being up front most of this race. Joshua Robertson, the 3, is on the outside row with the 5 of Mason Hausman, who's led a lot of laps tonight, Chad.
Yeah, I see a lot of the same guys we've been seeing up front for most of this race, and that's the 78, the 85, the 5, that double zero. Those four trucks have pretty much been up front most of the night. But then you got the three of Josh Roberts making his way up into the top five in that pretty purple truck that he has. So he's trying to be a contender here in these closing laps, and right now, the amount of trucks that we just had taken out of this field, we'll have to see how many of them still had a fast repair remaining. But someone that this does benefit, Kurt, is that 60 of Terry Radford. I heard him right before we pulled him in the booth say that he was going to be short. So now he's able to come in, put fuel on it. Fortunately, he's going to lose that track position, but he is able to make it. And right now with the amount of trucks that just got taken out, he should be not that far off the lead. So he's back in contention. Even though he was going to be short. But
Well, Chad, why don't you go see if you can find James Coey out there in the chat? We'll bring him up here. He's going to be starting about 13th in this pack. We've seen drivers in real life go from 6th to 1st. Dale Jr.'s done it. Dale Sr.'s done it. We've seen guys go from 9th to 1st as well in some races here. So on iRacing, there's really no position on this track right now. You could be 20th and still somehow make it up to 1st before the end of the race. And we've got James Coey in the 66 coming up to the booth. Jim, how is it going out on track? We've got your son out there in the chat, first time chatter for him, so appreciate you sending that out to him. I've been watching him on Facebook, or your Facebook, for a few years now, playing football and baseball and things like that. How's it feeling out there in that 66?
It's feeling good, Kurt. It's been a little bit rough. Got stuck in the back, missed my pits, bunch of screw ups, but now we're back up here in the fight of things. So we'll see how it goes.
well, James, you're finding yourself just outside the top 10, which obviously is not a threat. Not no. I guess not that you can't win from there. We've seen Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Jr. pull off the win from farther back. Do you still have a fast repair remaining? Because I think it's just going to be even crazier now with you guys keep getting grouped up with these cautions.
Nah, I had to use my first fast repair earlier in I think in that first wreck. Got sideswiped a little bit, so I used that. So I'm just praying to get through it and get with my teammates here and see if we can bring this up to the front.
Well, Jim, it's always been a pleasure to call races when you're in them. Obviously, we've known each other for a long time, back to console days. Glad to see you back in Turn Down for What Racing and doing this event here. So we'll see if we can watch you go from 13th to 1st and maybe take home the win. Good luck.
I appreciate it, guys. I'm glad that we're doing this charity event, and I'm glad to be part of it.
Absolutely. Shad, go ahead and send him back down to his chat so he can get talking with his teammates here so they can strategize before this thing goes green as they're coming through the front stretch. But we've got Tyler Dohar, Brad Herman lined up side by side on the front row with Pacey Wygen and the 3 of Joshua Roberts in that second row, Shad. Where will the move come? Because we've seen it on the last lap. You don't want to be the leader when it comes around turn 4. Do you think Pacey can make that move? Or will he jump up in front of the 85? Will the 85 come around the outside of a friend of Tyler Dohar?
I think right now there's no friendship. If you're wanting to win this race, you're going to have to make the moves that works for you, not worry about anybody else. But Pacey's not able to push Dohar out far enough, so he cannot clear that 85 of Herman. Herman's now getting a great run on the outside with just 2 trucks. He's got that 3 of Joshua Roberts giving him one heck of a push as they go down the backstretch into turn 3. They're going to be side by side.
Yeah, we had some squirreliness going on back there. The 36 truck and the 19 got together, and the 36 looked like they were both going for the same part of the real estate on the track. 36 bailing out of it, and now moving back up to the top side, going into the 3rd spot on that top lane. But yeah, the big separation between the 3 and the next car definitely slowed that outside line back. And now we've got a 3rd line going, Chad, with the 19 who comes up and tries to get alongside the 75. And we've got the 60 of Terry Radford coming around the outside as well.
Yeah, too wide now for the front, 6 rows as we're coming down to 3 to go when they get to the line this time by. If you're wanting to make your move, you're going to have to start now. If you're back there too far, that 3rd line is open, but you're going to need some people to come with you.
Yeah, you can see the 19 keeps trying to form it, but nobody in the back behind the 60 is coming with him. The 8 staying in line. That's the 8 of who is the 8? I forgot who the 8 was. Tyler Belanger, sorry. In that 8, I should have recognized the paint scheme because we're both Kyle Busch fans. So, but now that third line is formed. The 36 of Michael Berdusky going to the outside. He was just door to door with the 19 earlier. Now the 19 going to be pushing the 8, trying to come up through the middle. The 60 tucked in behind the 19, trying to push that outside line. 3 rows deep. Chad from 4th row to back.
Yeah, Tyler B in that 8 truck, Kurt, multiple laps down, so he's not a contender for this win. Just trying to help whoever he can as far as a friend get to the front. But right now, Kurt, we're 2 by 2 for the first 4 or 5 rows. And that outside line, Kurt, just has not gotten formed yet. We're starting to see a few more trucks go there, as it looks like we're almost about to see a 4th line. It's going to close off, but yeah, 3 wide, Kurt. And who's the leader on that 3rd line? It's going to be the 8 of Tyler B. He's not a contender for the win, but he can pull somebody up there with him, and they can push him out front, and he could take over the win, whoever's behind him. But still, 2 by 2, Kurt, for the front and for the lead, as that 85 and 78 are battling hard for the lead of this race. They both have very good pushers right now behind them, but who pulls out and tries to go for the win? As we see the 13, Kurt, Justin Aniscock forming now on that outside line. He's trying to get there.
Yeah, that's somebody I would be tucking in right now behind, because Justin, like I said, has put in a ton of work this week as we come off of turn 4, coming to 1 to go. White flag will be in the air when we get to the line here, Shad. It will be raised up, and we will have 1 lap left, and there's the wreck with the 13.
No caution on the track, though. We stay
White
green,
came
Kurt.
out before. So we're coming around turns 1 and 2 now, still under power for the lead cars. The 78, 85, 00, and 3 are the 4 up front. But then you have the 5 and the 66 still in this shed. Could the 00 make the move on the 78? He is tucked in side by side with the 85 right now. No room to get to the middle. I don't know where it's going to come from, Shad, but we're coming around turn 3 right now. We've got 1 turn and a trioval to go. Who's going to make the move? Oh, and the 78 gets turned off of the 00's nose.
Turned.
85 of Brad Herman coming down through the trioval. 00 barely misses the truck right there. It is going to be Brad Herman in the 85, Shad, that's going to come around for this win here at Talladega. And there are trucks being just destroyed back there as they're still trying to come across the line. And another car gets whacked. I think that's the 47. He's going to come across the line backwards. Wow. This was a crazy one. And Michael Berdusky, Shad, comes home 3rd there. Mike York, we saw him as a perennial backpack runner. Most of this race comes home 4th. Top 3 will stay on the track, Shad, and the leader will do his burnout when he comes around here. We're going to wait for the 85. Some cars or trucks coming up and giving him the love tap to congratulate him on the victory. But stay tuned for the interviews of the top 3. We'll also bring up the owner, Mike Papa Bear Campbell, to discuss tonight's donations and things like that. So stay tuned here as these guys are coming around. But we'll be right back after this victory celebration burnout by the 85 of Brad Herman, tonight's winner in Charlie's Playground Foundation event. All right, we're back here for KS Gaming 51 Broadcasting, bringing you the final top three for tonight's event at the Charlie Playground fundraising event. And Talladega, no short of excitement, excitement all the way to the end here. But we've got the top three coming up to the booth. Your winner tonight in the 85 will be Brad Herman. Second place going to Pacey Wygent. Third will be the 36 of Michael Perdusky coming home third. But we'll talk to the winner tonight first, and that is Brad Herman in his Toyota 85. Brad, it kind of looks like a discount tire paint scheme is what you're looking like here, but you took that truck and brought it all the way to the front. You were pretty close to the front most of the night here. I think you started third, so I don't think you were outside of that very much. Just a crazy event of things happening there. You saw the 00 and the 78 have a little bit of contact there coming through 3 and 4. The 78 spun, of course, down to the apron. Luckily, did not spin back up the track, and you were able to come away kind of solo with Pacey kind of chasing you there. And then there was even more carnage behind you guys that took out the rest of the field, essentially, breaking it apart. And Michael Radusky able to come home third behind you guys. But how did you feel about tonight's race and this event that's going on for Charlie's Playground? And then what does it feel like to get this win, and how was the race?
I felt pretty good. I tried to qualify on the pole for that extra money, but didn't get there, so qualified third still. So I kind of set my run for the race and just kept it up front all night and tried to stay with the guys I was working with, Justin and Dohar and that group. So I was unfortunate to see Dohar get turned there. I think it was going to be either one of us at the end, and I was just nervous on getting clipped there at the end. I know a couple of them were close to me, but yeah, it was just easy running to the end there. Just gotta thank you guys for putting on this event. I'm sure it's awesome for that family over there, and whatever they got going through, I couldn't imagine. But I just gotta thank all you guys for putting it on, and it was awesome to win.
Well, Shad, you got any questions for Brad Herman in this 85, tonight's victor?
Well, Brad, we've seen you and Justin working pretty much most of the race tonight. Then you guys got split up, you being on the outside lane, him being on the bottom, and you guys never were able to connect again. When you're coming down to those closing laps, you had a car that I don't know how familiar you were with Justin or Josh Roberts behind you, pushing you in that three truck. How were you confident wise with him behind you before that run started? Because he was giving you one heck of a push, and you guys were maintaining on that outside line, and you guys actually had less trucks on that outside line.
Yeah, when the restart happened, I realized I didn't recognize the truck behind me. I didn't know it was Josh, but he did a hell of a job pushing me. Me and Dohar said we'll just take each line and see whoever does it at the end. It's going to be up to whoever pushes behind us. So it was unfortunate for him, but yeah, he did a hell of a job. Got to thank him for pushing me to the win, basically.
Well, Brad, this event here, it's obviously a special cause, trying to get money together and fulfill a little girl's dream. We've got a lot of people out there in chat. We've had, I think, upwards of 70 plus people in three different social platforms between YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook watching tonight's event. Hope everybody was happy with it. I think Papa Bear said he was going to try to do an event like this either every year for this specific foundation, or also adding in every other month or so, trying to get together and do an event like this for a specific foundation or specific cause, to help children and things like that. We've done events for Justin Strong. We've done events for Sophia the Fierce. We've done events for Papa Bear's grandson. We've done events for other charities and foundations and things like that. Does it mean a whole lot to you to come out here and win events like this for the reasons of why we're doing the event?
It definitely does, and whoever thought that they would think that that would come from people racing on iRacing. So for them, it's awesome, and yeah, to be a part of it and to donate and do whatever you can in a little bit, it does mean a lot, and you're doing something right. So hopefully it does something for you later on, but it it feels good.
Well, I definitely couldn't agree any more on that one, Chad. Any other questions for the 85?
Uh, no, just one heck of a race by you, Herman. kept her up front pretty much the entire night, and brought it home in the victory. I think you guys might have taken it on that outside line. You guys were going to get the momentum coming off of turn four. It would have been a shootout to the end, but either way, you're the one that crossed the checkered line first. So congrats to you, and one heck of a race.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Brad. Any shout outs for you?
Just gotta thank my Zuyos team and TJ's team for being on board all season for my SRN venture. Still going for the championship, so hopefully we can pick it up there for him.
All right. Well, that's tonight's winner going home with the top prize, and we'll see what happens here with the other two drivers we got to talk to. But we're gonna send the 85 back down to victory lane, and we'll talk to second place finisher Double Zero Pacey Wygen. Pacey, we've obviously known each other a very long time. We knew each other before we even got into console racing and NNR and things like that back in other leagues that we were in. I can't even think of the name of that one. I thought it was like Outlaw Series or something like that. But
It was Outlaw.
was it Outlaw? Okay. So we've known each other for a very long time. This event, obviously, you run Sophia the Fierce on your truck. We talked a little bit about that during the race, but this is a different kind of event or different event for another child that had a dream for all-inclusive playgrounds and things like that. I asked Brad how much does it mean to him to get the win here, knowing that you run Sophia the Fierce's paint scheme all season or the rest of the season and stuff. Does this kind of give you a pull on that heartstring? I know you're a new dad, same as me and Shad, both in this broadcast booth as well. When you have kids, it kind of means a little bit something different. I think when you hear about other kids and things like that struggling or having issues, or that horrible thing of having cancer and things like that, you never want to hear that of a child.
Yeah, but before I get to any of that, I just need to apologize to Tyler. I did not mean to wreck him there. I knew the outside was going to have the momentum, and I was just trying to give him all the momentum I could coming off four there. I sincerely apologize to Tyler. I know he ran a great race all night, and it's my fault entirely. Like I hit him in the left rear, and it got him loose, and I kept hitting. But it's the last lap. At the same time, you got to look at it from that point of view. So, but I just wanted to apologize to him first off. But yeah, being a new dad, well, I won't really say new. I mean, my daughter's
Newish.
turning a year old
Yeah.
in like 2 weeks. But yeah, it definitely hits a lot harder with all the kids and sicknesses and cancers and everything going bad with them. It really does hit the heart a little different. But no, I'm just glad that we were able to put on a show for all the viewers out there, and it was a fun race. I mean, I didn't take tires the entire time. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what to say. I'm quite literally that Ricky Bobby. What do I do with my hands? I never know what to say in these interviews. I just come up here and I'm like, yeah, I wrecked you. I'm sorry. Yeah. I just don't know. I don't know what to say. It was just a blast out there tonight. I love the restrictor plates though. Congrats to the win for I don't even remember who it was. Who was it?
Brad.
Brad. There you go. Congrats on the win, Brad. Um, yeah.
Shad, any
I'll
questions for
shut
your
up
good
now.
buddy here? Or Ricky
I don't
Bobby,
know
it
if he'd
seems
be
like.
able. Yeah, I don't know if he'd be able to answer him because he doesn't know what to do with his hands. But I'll just leave it at this, Pacey. You ran a heck of a race. You kept that 00 towards the front most of the race. It's super speed racing. Something like that. It happens. We've seen it. Pretty much every wreck tonight was because the trucks weren't lined up completely, and that push on the left rear is what caused it. Pretty much every accident. So it happens. You're coming out of turn four in the last lap. You want to make things happen, and it's no big deal. Um, so keep your chin up there, and congrats for at least bringing it home P2.
Thank you.
Pacey, any shout outs for you or anything like that you want to discuss before we send you back down to the pit road?
Yeah, shout out to you guys for broadcasting. Shout out to Papa Bear. Um, and I think Mike Allen. I'm pretty sure. I'm sure there's more people out there. I just personally I don't know, but thank you to all of them guys who set this all up. It was great for a good cause. Shout out to my fiance, my daughter for sure. She's always my number one cheerleader out there. But as for shout out to Sophia too. I mean I know this wasn't specifically for her or anything, but like I said, when you guys pulled me up while on track, that that's who I'm racing for every single race I get into. So this all for Sophia, at least from my perspective. And when I'm driving, it's for Sophia. Yes, this event was for the charity or whatever, but and yes, I do respect that and all, but I couldn't take Sophia off my truck, and I know I probably should have. But um yeah, just thanks to everybody. I don't know.
Well, before he gives us a Jackhawk commercial, Shad, or anything like that, we'll send a 00 back down. Don't forget to chew Big Red, I think is what Pacey was trying to say there, Shad. So send him
Hey, I
back
was still
down,
kidding.
and we'll talk the third place finisher, Michael Produski in the 36 tonight, Shad. Mike, you weren't really noticeable at the very front, but you were right there within the front pack most of the race. The cautions came out there. You got a little squirrely though on that last restart. You in the 19 looked like you almost made contact there, or did. I'm not sure. Before we got to the finish line here, and then you jumped up to the outside line, got behind Brad Herman, and kind of followed them through, and just the seas parted for you. There was cars or trucks spinning all over the place. Pacey almost got clipped by, I think, the 66 spinning around in 360 there. You drove right through and come home third tonight. So how does it feel bringing home third in this special charity event?
Oh, bud, let me tell you what. All right, not even to talk about how the race went, but just got to give before we start, a huge shout out to everyone that was out there tonight. What a blast. Probably the best race I've had in iRacing since I've had this thing. Just clean race all the way around, and I mean, just put it on for, what it was put on for Charlie and her family, Charlie's Garden. Love to see all the support for that. So at the end of the day, I could finish first, could finish last. When it comes to this type of stuff, I don't really matter. It doesn't really matter to me. Just, love to see the support. But god damn, what a race! Holy! Yeah, at the end there, on the restart, 95, there's something happened on the restart, a little bit jumbled up. I was trying to make some moves, 95. I mean, he was moving the same place I was going. A little bit of contact, but nothing much. And got up there, I was in the outside lane, about second or third back. Thought it might have been a good idea to hop out there to the far outside lane and just kept falling back. Tried to get my buddy there, Tyler Bellinger, hop up there with me and try to push him up there, but I just wasn't going anywhere. And cautions came out, or people were wrecking, and I just told myself to keep my foot in it. And the seas parted for me. That's all I can say, really. But coming out to turn 4 there and seeing that third place, that felt pretty awesome. So, but again, just a huge shout out to everyone that put this on. What a great show. I hope everyone that was watching it really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun down there on the track racing it. So appreciate it, guys.
Well, Shad, this 36 Mike Brodusky, you race against him, or we call a race, sorry, for Velocity Motorsports that he races in. I think it's the first time we've seen Michael in the top 3 between the two of us calling races. So hopefully this is a shot for season 2 for Velocity Motorsports whenever that kicks off here in a few weeks. But Mike brings it home the third, Shad. So what do we got to say about Mike here?
What's dude?
What's up?
I mean, what can I say? I didn't really notice you up front, Mike, during the race. I don't. You could have been just with that many trucks.
I was up there battling with the 98 there, laps back and forth. That was about it. I was the one up front when that first caution came out. Actually.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, you were up there at one point, and then you find yourself there at the end, and that's what matters in these restrictor plate races. And you got to be there at the end to have a chance. And probably weren't going to get a top 3, but then the wrecks happen right in front of you, and the seas part, and you're able to work your way through it, and now you come home, sitting in that third spot on the podium. I don't know what to say other than just, obviously great race, great, cause that we're doing this for. And um glad to see somebody from Velocity up there. And um you know I guess we just roll on into what shout outs you got for tonight. And
Yeah, I
um
appreciate it. Well, I mean, again, shout out to everyone that was out there on the track. Shout out to, excuse me, Charlie's Garden. Shout out to her family. We all know what they're don't know what they're going through, but God bless them. And shout out to Velocity Motorsports, guys that were out there on the track, had some bad luck, but that's how it goes. Yeah, just want to say thanks to everyone, and y'all have yourselves a good night.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for the top three, but we've got two people up into the booth shed right now, Papa Bear, Mike Campbell, and Mike Allen. Both two huge thank yous to these guys for putting on this event. Papa Bear with Turn Down for what, being the owner admin and working on everything he can behind the scenes and up front. Mike Allen for getting together with the family, and all of us here at Turn Down for What are definitely thankful for being able to do this kind of event. It's not real racing, but some people call it a video game, some people call it a simulator, but we love doing this kind of racing for these type of events, and we definitely want to do a giant shout out to both you guys for doing everything you guys did to get this whole event together, and it couldn't have happened without you guys. So definitely that big shout out. But Papa Bear, I assume you have some notifications or information there about the total donations. I had the number originally. I don't know if it changed at all, so I just want to make sure if you want to run through any of that information there.
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to give a huge shout out to Mike Allen, you, Kurt, Shad, for stepping in at the last second when the original broadcaster Pete had a family emergency to take care of. But you guys did an awesome job of coming through for us. Give another huge shout out to Charlie's parents for allowing us to do this also and try to help get a little money towards Charlie's dream of having this type of playground made. But yeah, at the beginning of the race, I announced we had just in driver funds, just from these drivers, the racing community coming together. We had $704, and then one of the racers, donated to the just straight to the GoFundMe. So that came out at 754. But once the green flag hit, we had two more racers donate. We're up to $824 to go towards this. So that's just from the racers. So hopefully we'll see what we can find out what actually got donated during the race. So that's pretty awesome.
Absolutely agree. Mike Allen, I know you had pulled in some sponsorships as well. If you want to run through their information
Yeah,
and what they
they're
donated as well.
yeah, we had the Capital Land Motors GMC out of Schenectady, New York. They donated, they brought in more than what we were expecting for the sponsorship. So, their extra part on top of, what they donated will be put into the GoFundMe. Um, excuse me, it's not all 100% calculated yet, but I can tell you they both went up and over or above. And then we have a New Turnpike Machine Shop also did the same thing. And they both sponsors just went out of their way to just give us a nice amount of money to put this thing on. They both just thought it was a fantastic idea, and it's just awesome. I will have a total calculation tomorrow once we get everything all put together here, and I'll have everything, and I will make sure Papa knows, and we can make sure it goes on our turn down for what page, and let the parents know just how much we were thinking of them tonight.
I know I posted the GoFundMe probably about 8 times throughout the three different platforms we were streaming on tonight, and there was at one point, like I said, we were up over 70 viewers between the three different platforms between Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. So a lot of people out there watching. This thing was posted everywhere possible. I do want to give a big shout out to Pete and his family with their family emergency. I know what's going on there. So hoping everything goes okay, and hope they make it through everything that's going on there as well. Definitely was looking forward to driving this race, but when uh, I, I guess we could call him a brother. He's a little older than me, but I'll just give him a little shot there. But he's somebody I know outside the track. Obviously, we've met through iRacing, and um, when Pete needs something, I'll step in anytime to help him out. So I appreciate Shad also. Giant shout out to you coming in. We call the races over at Velocity together, and they're super appreciative and love that we're able to do all that stuff that we talk about and all the knowledge and skills you bring to the booth from all the driving you've done and races you've run. But this event, like I said, when you have kids or when you eventually have kids and things like that, or if you have grandkids or um, cousins, nephews, whatever it is, moms, dads, cancer is not something that is easily passed over when we have that kind of stuff go on in our own families. And this group here, we always talk about family and family first, and this group is a family. And I think we do a pretty good job. There was a comment out there from somebody on Facebook that said it renewed his feeling for humanity, for seeing this being done for this child's dream. So that's how much we're touching people out there in the chat that
That's
tuned
what
in to
we're
watch
out
this.
for.
So I think that's the biggest thing is what people are looking at. People coming together from all aspects of driving and racing, and people coming together for events. Obviously, the Charlie's Playground Foundation looking through their websites and Facebook pages and things like that. They've had, a firehouse that did a fundraiser event. The elementary school came together and did an event and raised a bunch of money. There's been other events held for this exact fundraiser as well. So there's a lot of stuff going on for people helping this. And like I said, the GoFundMe's up over 100 grand. So there is a lot of people coming together to help and finance these all-inclusive playgrounds. So really appreciate everybody out there, Papa Bear, Alan, or Mike, Shad, Repeat, and all the drivers. I just want to say thank you for letting me come up here and do this broadcasting, and you guys all being a part of it.
I'll say one thing, if I could, Kurt. In the greater upstate New York area, if I can put a phone number link contact to you can come help build this playground when the time comes there.
Nice.
I'll put that in the turn down for what page, and we'll share that.
Nice.
Well, Papa Bear, I think we're going to wrap this up here. Really appreciate everybody out there in the chat. Like I said, the 70 plus people viewing between those three different things. And I also got word, too, from Mike today that this was going to be, the link was going to be given to the Doug Flutie Foundation, and they were going to go back and watch this and take things from it as well to talk about for their charity as well. So, like I said, just really appreciate everybody. And Shad, any final words from you from this awesome event that we just put on? And I know, we do this together, and this is a bigger event to do together.
I mean, yeah, one heck of a race by these drivers. To run pretty much 3/4 of the race without a caution is amazing. I think anybody that's ever watched NASCAR that watches super speedway racing, they know that cautions happen all the time, and it's just when, not if. So these drivers put on one heck of a show to go that far, that long without a caution. And gave some great racing. Hopefully, the family members of this little girl were watching and seeing the show that these drivers were wanting to put on, for this foundation and for her wishes. And, just to talk a little bit about this little girl. I mean, who out of any of us, had the mindset that this little girl had, that, she wanted to make all-inclusive playgrounds that any kid with any kind of disability is able to go to and use and have fun. I mean, to have that mindset at such a young age is just it's incredible. And for us to be able to make our contribution, I know it's not millions of dollars like we all wish it could be, but to at least send something and know that we're thinking about this foundation, this little girl, the family, and trying to make her wishes come true. And it's like paying it forward. We're all trying to do something better and help someone else out, and hopefully you get it back in return. So just obviously it was last minute for me and you to come on and broadcast this race. I'm glad we did. It was one heck of a race for sure, and obviously it was for an amazing cause. So I couldn't be more thrilled to be in the booth up here, for with you calling it, and just hopefully the family members of this little girl were able to watch it and enjoy the show, and hopefully we can do more events like this, in the coming future, and if we could do some kind of annual thing every year for this foundation, I'd be all on board and coming up in the booth every time for it. So just a great night overall, and yeah, just proud, glad to be here.
Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for KS Gaming 51 Broadcasting, bringing you the turn down for what Charlie's Playground Foundation event. One heck of a race, 80 laps of just awesomeness. So if you want to go back and rewatch it, like I said, on the Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube, if you hit the follow or subscribe button, you can go back and rewatch these anytime, take clips from them, whatever you want to do. But just an awesome event, and can't wait for the next one. So you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we'll catch you for the next race.